2005. She leads you through the streets of the town carrying a heavy wooden sign. She is the people who will follow us on the journey, the locals. The people who will follow her on the journey will not be from this town. They will have travelled 200 miles. People who work at the gallery will follow her. A man who will wander into the park will follow her. She will not be sure about the new gallery. She will be suspicious of the newness. She will wonder what will happen to the Georgian period features. She will be excited about the barefaced concrete of the new gallery, so close to the seafront. She will ask what we are doing. We are what we have done. You are plural. Will what could have been. Fiction is not fictional. I stay still to keep moving. They will look back to go forwards. May Day, May Day, May Day.
He asks, do you think that any artwork which you produce will take the following for granted? That our generation is concerned with nostalgia? That our generation is nostalgic? Are we interested in the idea of a society which once existed, which was not so obsessed with the individual? Through our nostalgia-stained glass of the future, we see the 1950s as such an era, the working man's club, a utopian vision. So, dear SpRoUts, do we long for community? We work as individuals, we work together, when we can find a space, when we can find a time. An ensemble of solo characters in an opera who practice alone. They sing together their single lines in Act 3. Their voices are coming in and out of focus. We are what we have done. You are plural. Will what could have been. Fiction is not fictional. I stay still to keep moving. They will look back to go forwards.
He is not a problem. This is a problem. We live in several geographic locations. He has several ways to make a living. This is not a problem. Here we are. It is complicated, but some people think that they understand it, and they try to explain it to us. We understand. We think. It is disappearing quickly. We try not to panic, to stay calm, to enjoy it. We've missed it. Shit. But we're told by those who have experienced it that it will happen again. It might be different. We might not recognize it, but it or something else will happen. Has happened. We waited. We are what we have done. You are plural. Will what could have been. Fiction is not fictional. I stay still to keep moving.
We were adrift on the ocean, without paddle, sail, or rudder. We got hungry. We got thirsty. We got hot. We wanted company, wanted some other thing, a mirror. We dreamt of a canopy, any umbrella under which to shelter, to maintain our finesse. We had no concept of distance. Without event, we had no hold on time. Without markers, direction was meaningless. We thought our horizons were beyond reach. We heard voices, saw endless eyes, reflected, refracted, grasped invisible hands. We were there, on solid ground, not one, but many. They are taking over the world, bringing their collective consciousness to bear on matter, on form. They are dreaming of their history, their beginnings, their origin. They are beside themselves. They tap one another on the shoulder and whisper, "We are gods. We are what we have done. You are plural. Will what could have been. Fiction is not fictional."
They wiggled their little digits, and bam, there they stood, clutching at each other for warmth, who'd forgotten their hairlessness. They, the clever clogs, the real heroes, weren't happy at all. Sibling rivalry made them hot around the collar. They wanted to get even, wanted to strike out and make a name for themselves. Dropping like stones, they crept into their yards, their thoughts, their mock crocs and skinny jeans. Oh dear, they fell for his charms, his wit, and that was it, party over. The landlord had had it up to the neck. He kicked them out, kit and caboodle, left to wander the streets of Manhattan in their Vivienne Westwood bodysuits, very a la mode. We are what we have done. You are plural. Will what could have been.
I declare the visible ordered and named a permeable fiction. Fiction is not fictional. I look back to go forwards. If I engage in travel, I will arrive. I manifest multiplicity, and the tail of a comet is a memory, and I am the comet. Collaboration takes place in memory. Continuous quantities, like continuous qualities, are endless like the truth, for it is impossible to carry them. It is impossible to carry light and darkness, proximity, chance, movement, restlessness, and thought. From all of these, something spills. Collaboration gives structure to awareness, and in doing so, it blurs, and perhaps even effaces, the distinction between subject and object, since collaboration is neither, being intermediate between the two. We are what we have done. You are plural.
The fiery tail of the comet is the trace of the rock that immediately precedes it. Thinking through this logic, it becomes apparent that the actual rock of the comet is not visible other than through its radiant tail. The comet's tail is not its ghost, but its line of flight. Its line of flight indicates the speed and trajectory of the dark shard of rock that precedes it. The comet is the invisible event that is only visible in the trace in its wake. The passage its tail leaves as ephemeral inscription across the sky. The comet also serves to make visible the otherwise invisible or unremarkable blackness that surrounds it, paradoxically perhaps, by lighting this negative space. The comet invokes the dynamic relational axis or flow between here and elsewhere, that is, the oscillation between points, the else in the here, the fact of inhabiting the world in the here and now, and of displacing the sites of production of text, meaning, and territory. The comet, like memory, like collaboration, is a visitation that is proliferative and fluid as it races across the sky, and as such it presents a threat to order, destabilizing received notions of unitary territory or subjectivity from their position of absolute certitude. The comet is always in the process of appearing and disappearing simultaneously. The comet is suspension of particles in a liquid. It collaborates as an utterance in the sky. Its different parts are no longer rock, tail, blackness. It is no longer reducible to its constituents, components, and materials. It becomes a sky event, and an event that includes its own disappearing and forgetting. It is an afterwards in progress, suspended, an event in its own becoming. We are what we have done.